Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Journaling. My name is Julia, and I'm here with my co-host Brian. Every week, we share with you how to live your most joyful life. And in this episode, we are diving into the link between joy and neuroscience. And I just have a question. Have you ever wondered how does your emotions impact your brain? Or maybe something a little bit easier. Have you done something this week that brought you more joy?
Yeah, and definitely thanks for tuning in. We definitely appreciate you taking your time to listen to our episode and, learn a little bit more about joy, joyful living, how to add to the joy in your life and others around you. So definitely thank you for tuning in. And then today we're going to be looking at these different key points and benefits. So, right, what happens in your brain when you feel joy? And what are the benefits of joy and on your brain? And we're going to find out what the joy factor is. And then also looking deeper with a couple different neuroscientists into how mindfulness can create that joy.
Yes.
How would you like to tell us about what happens in your brain when you feel joy?
So I will make it super simple. Actually, that's what I use the help of my best assistant ChatGPT to help me with to explain it like to the 5 years old, because I think sometimes we put those grand ideas and all of that, but I think Einstein said it. If you cannot explain something to a child, then you might not understand it. So I want to be super clear and use this simple example. So basically, when you do something that brings you joy, it could be doing yoga or reading a book or drinking your favorite tea or coffee. Joyful activities activates the happy lights in your brain. And then based on that, your brain releases chemicals like dopamine and endorphins that makes you feel extra happy. And afterwards, the special happy spot in your brain gets excited and boosts your joy. And afterwards, your brain sends the messages to your body. And what might happen? You might smile a little, you might start laughing, you will just start enjoying yourself, and your body will reflect that. And what is great about it, that joyful memories are saved in your memory, so you can feel happy thinking about them later. Actually, we can do it now. Can you think about something joyful that happened to you this week or this month? Something that really like made you feel lighter, playful, joyful. Yeah, just think about it for a moment or two. Great. Now you are great set up for learning. Learning. Brian, what
Yes.
have you thought about?
I was just thinking about 5 minutes ago when we were being hysterical, laughing just about trying to start this episode. And I'm doing my best not to laugh right now as well.
Yeah.
So yes, the memory is definitely a great place that you can
Yeah.
pull all of the magic out of your joy.
Yeah.
What were you thinking about?
I haven't thought about anything because I didn't want to start laughing again.
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but actually, this is one of my strategies that when I do something really difficult, for example, I think I came up with it in my, I don't know where it came from, but when I was climbing Kilimanjaro and it was really hard. It was like each 2 steps, I was like, break, please, let's stop. So I was entertaining myself by thinking about moments were fun or I was grateful for, and it helped me go through like it was hours of climbing at night. So that's what I do quite often. Or I also, when I see something that is hard, I'm thinking like how it could be more difficult to the extent that it's like ridiculous. And that also like it's kind of joyful and playful way to think
Right.
about life, when something not optimal is happening, then I'm like, okay, how it could be worse. And then to the extent like, okay, I'm just laughing that I'm pretty lucky in this moment. So
Right.
yeah, I do it every single day.
Yeah, there's both the memory magic and then putting it into perspective as
Yes.
well, right? Yeah, because that is really, I mean, the science really tells us that by doing something, we can actually create the state of joy. It's by doing something again and again. If you want your brain to make you happy and release all those happy chemicals, then we've got to be doing those activities that shows your brain that you're happy, so that it'll send out those chemicals and flood the system, so that your instant reaction to something really great that's happening tells your brain that you're happy, and away we go. Yet you can also create those feelings of joy anytime you want by simply intentionally and consciously doing those movements or actions, or going back to those memories, back to those thoughts in those difficult moments to create that chemical release. It's like, and therein lies both the freedom and that playfulness around becoming empowered about what I'm going to feel in the moment. And then all of a sudden you're smiling just because you want to have those chemicals come in, and then here comes the joy. So yeah, it's really funny how we can see that we don't need those external triggers or events to spark the smile. We can just start smiling, and then here it comes.
Yeah,
So,
I heard I think I came across something similar. There was this maybe you know more about it, that if you will fake a smile, right, for X amount of time, then your body will start picking up on it, and so does your brain, and you will start actually feeling joy and happiness. Is that
right.
correct?
Yes, 100% correct. Right. So you can go at it from both ways. You can actually feel it from something external happening, and then you start smiling, and then here come all the chemicals.
Mm.
Or you can actually cause the chemical reaction by starting with a smile, because it doesn't matter what's happening around you. And even like you said, in climbing Kilimanjaro, all of a sudden you just decided to consciously be happy with the distraction through a challenging moment. And that can really make all the difference.
Yes, I can confirm that, because it made, usually I do it when I run or something, just to distract myself with a happy thought. Otherwise, it's not always pleasant to go through the challenge like that. But since
Right.
we're talking about smile, when I was doing research for today's episode, I came to the cross, which across a term called Duchenne smile. Have you heard about it, Brian?
I have not, no.
No?
Huh.
So this type of smile, it's actually the name of the smile. It's a genuine smile that involves the muscles around the eyes. So it's usually when we feel joy, it's our eyes are like right, wrinkle a little. So that's
Okay.
called Duchenne smile. So it's this genuine smile, because everyone can like fake their smile, but when you do this one, it's not really. Yeah, so it's just this peaceful smile.
Right. You can tell if it's genuine
Yeah.
because of the muscles around the eyes start to contract a bit,
Mhm.
right? They start to smile.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So you can definitely look into the body language of the next person that's smiling at you and see, okay, is this real or not?
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Use it.
So let's dive into the benefits of joy, that it's what is happening in your brain. So in the previous, at the beginning, I mentioned that there is actually activation of reward centers. So dopamine release, and dopamine, it's a neurotransmitter that is associated with pleasure and reward. So that's a pretty good kickoff. And then endorphins, and also when you feel more joyful, your brain activity, it's enhanced, and it's increased connectivity, right? So the way how the information are being transferred in your brain, and also it's improved functioning. So it's impacting better emotional regulation, increased resilience, and enhanced cognitive functions such as problem solving and creativity. If you want to try it, just try to do something creative when you are stressed out, and then try to do something creative when you just laughed for a little bit. It just feels easier to do it afterwards. And then also joy and the brain, what is great about it is that it's reducing the stress, right? So basically it's lowering your cortisol levels. So the more joy you experience, the less stressed out you be, right? Because you have this perspective. And of course, joy, we're all about it, but joy is all about promoting overall mental health and well-being. The more joyful you are, the less of the latter you have, and then you feel more relaxed because joy is activating the parasympathetic nervous system. And also, you get the benefits of the brain plasticity, since you have a chance to form new neural connections. And of course, because of your long-term move is starting to be improved, right? Is the thing is, the more you start experiencing more joy, then it starts a habit. So you can have, it's, I don't know, 10 minutes a day when you feel joyful. And then the next week you can have an hour. And then that's how you build up habits. So that's pretty much how you can turn from, let's say, semi-positive life to the joyful one, just by practicing more and more. And yeah, and of course you have benefits of enhanced memory and the increased overall life satisfaction. So yeah, it's quite a lot. It's like joy is your snowball effect to feel great. Highly recommend it.
Yeah, there are an incredible amount of benefits when we're looking at how the body, the mind, even the spirit is affected by joy itself, right? So, that life satisfaction, that's pretty much the whole entire experience itself. And the science tells us we can increase that. So, yeah, we both definitely want to be doing tons of that.
Yeah.
And then, we were just talking also about the memory magic, right? And so you get enhanced memory by experiencing more joy, which then allows you to tap into more moments of joy. So it's a repeating cycle there.
Yeah,
And
because
then,
because that's exactly how our brain is constructed. So the thing is that everything that you probably see around you, it's created because of your frontal lobe, like the front lobe, right, of your brain. And then in the back, because that's how it was evolutional, like an onion, right? Like the newer part are in the front, and then the older brain is in the back. So pretty much all the creativity and problem solving is coming from the frontal lobe, right? And then when you are stressed out, or you are in this fight or flight mode, you are alert, or it's coming from a little bit, not the frontal lobe, let's say, it's from all the parts of the brain in the back. And the thing is that it's very difficult for you to process, because actually frontal lobe plays a key role. It's not the only one, the only area in the brain that is get activated when you feel joy, but it plays a role in it. But the thing is, when you are stressed out, or yeah, like feeling like all these emotions that they're like, yeah, I think stress is the major factor, then you're kind of cutting out the supply to the frontal lobe. And because you are in the flight, or because that's not needed, you don't need to think about how to solve creatively your problem when you feel threatened. And that's pretty much basically when you're stressed out all the time, that's you feel threatened, that your life it's in danger, and therefore you won't be creative, or because that's not necessary for your survival, because your brain thinks that you are in the survival mode, which is probably maybe not, because you are stressed out at work or whatnot. But that's how, yeah, relaxation. And but I think Brian will say more about it, right, in a moment.
yes. And if you really like the content that we're putting out and feel that it is really valuable to both you and everyone around you, well, then you can feel free and buy us a coffee, right? There is a link in our description where you can just click on that and buy us 1, 2, 3 coffees. We're a whole gang over here. And also just want to tell you a quick second about the Holistic Wealth Fest that just happened over the weekend. It was a major success. We had 12 different presenters come on and talk all about the different ways that we can increase our health, our wealth, and our joy in our lives. And so there is a replay for the next 7 days. And I believe there's like 3 or 4 days left. So you can feel free and get that for free, and simply sign up at the website, hwf2024.com, for that. And then we get into one of these major studies about the joy factor, right? And so in 2003, Daniel Goleman, he's a renowned the psychologist, he took some senior meditation practitioners, so people that were really, really experienced, and he took them into a lab and plugged them into an MRI machine to measure their brain states. And he called it the Lama in the lab,
Oh, I
right?
heard about it. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And so they had years of experience and months in silent retreat, leading up to this. And so these guys were the real deal. And they got into some deep meditative states, focusing on compassion. And the finding indicates that whether you're happy or sad, that really depends on your inner state, no matter what happens around you. And so there's a Buddhist view on this, that the mental happiness and joy really depends on the attitude about what happens to you more than what is actually happening, right? So really the question is what story are you telling yourself about what's going on? Because that is where the hidden mastery lies, right? So the science and the Eastern ancient wisdom are both saying the same thing now, that your joy comes from that inner state, from your attitude. So it's not really about the things that actually happen to you. It's about how you think about the things that are happening to you, and whether you allow what happens around you to affect that inner state. And so meditation was really under the microscope there, right? For showing how it could increase the happiness and decrease anxiety and even create a stronger immune system as well. So that was a really great study back in 2003.
Yeah, I love it. So basically, the study revealed that it's not about what is happening, but it's about the state that you are in. So it could be both, right? Like you can take something as a positive or negative. It's all up to you. Interesting, because actually I did not find the proof about it, but there was something about that. Some scientists, but again, it's very hard to find the right source to get those information from. That the joy it's could be the predisposition for you to experience joy, could be in your DNA, but I just doesn't feel the statement doesn't goes right with the neuroplasticity or the study that about the meditation and all of that. I think it's very disempowering to just say that, oh, it's all in your DNA, because
Right.
sometimes yes, that's the truth, but I think in many lifestyle issues, it's not in your DNA. It's often in you that you can do something about it. And
Right.
even if it is, then you can still try, right? Because there is a lot of lifestyle factors that could help. So it's fascinating. And yeah, I heard about it, and it's this side of the brain that is lighting up during the meditation, and it's like love, compassion.
Right.
Yeah, I experienced it once or twice, but it's definitely, yeah, I'm a beginner in comparison to these guys, definitely.
Well, yeah, when it comes to meditation, there is a ton of different research that's really coming out that connects our health to the states of meditation, right? And relaxing the body and the joy. And like you said, there is a bit of disempowerment that is around some of the let's say major ideas about how there's like a fixed mindset and you can't change. Yet the science is really proving through the growth mindset and the neuroplasticity that we can affect so many different areas of our lives and especially our experience. And so there was a book that came out by Dan Siegel. He is a very renowned neuroscientist, and it's called The Mindful Brain.
Mm.
And his conclusion is that mindfulness uses much of the same brain circuitry as our social engagement system, right? As part of the brain. And so mindfulness is really a form of inner attunement where we can observe our own experiences like we observe others, right? So we observe ourselves as well. And this is incredibly important when we're kids, since there's that social dynamic with our parents or our siblings or caregivers, let's say. And this is where the science really proves that if we have a secure childhood, then as an adult, our brains are more going to be wired like those meditators, right? So we're really able to regulate and balance the nervous system and our emotions. We show empathy. We will have a self-knowing awareness, right? A real trust in ourselves, and also the ability to pause before acting to access different consequences, right? And this is really wise behavior. And so Dan also states that mindfulness is the single most important skill for achieving happiness and joy in your life. And this is coming from a neuroscientist, which is just really still really wild for me to go along with the ancient wisdom that's really been there for millennia. So the science is very, very clear. Mindfulness can really be seen as inner parenting of ourselves, right? Where it meets the experience of where it actually is, right? It listens without talking back, and it keeps listening, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's non-judgmental, it's kind, it's focused, interested, right? It stays calm when someone's freaking out, and it's unafraid when others are fearful. And it's
Mm-hmm.
really buoyant around depression, and it remains bigger in the experience, right? It's holding the space much like a parent would for a child.
Yeah, I love that. And it's also, yeah, I agree with everything what you said. It's also like this, when you practice mindfulness, it's that part that you are avoiding reactive behavior because we like to think that we are in charge. But in fact, like every area of your life, I'm so sorry, if you think you are in charge, your emotions are usually guiding through you, right? Like if you promise yourself that you are working out and then you don't, it's not because you are lazy, it's because your brain is wired in a certain way and you need to make effort to rewire it. And there's the same with, for example, when you argue with someone, it's yeah, I can speak from my example for sure. Like I'm very, I would say it, when in the past when I had arguments, usually I was saying a thing or two that I was regretting afterwards. So I have a choice either to continue and say things that they are harmful for others and then go through like the apologizing process. Of course it wasn't conscious that I was lashing out on people, of course not, but now what I do, I'm just like holding in, processing it later, and I don't need to apologize if I because I haven't said it. So I corrected that behavior. So it wasn't that I had to stay with it until the end of my life. Absolutely not. Do I slip occasionally? Of course. Is it as bad as it was before? Hopefully, thankfully not. But that's the thing, that it's is the emotions, because it was coming from deeper. I think, Brian, what you said about childhood, that just think about how many people that you know had stable childhood. Like I think, Brian, you are one, or maybe I know two other friends, you know. But the thing is that majority people they did not experience that. So in our adult life, we are like these little kids that, but we are just adults, but the kids that they didn't got what they needed when they were little. And there is a lot of things and a lot of trauma that we need to process as we grow, and that's our responsibility to process that trauma. And sometimes, for example, when somebody doesn't like to, I don't know, like be in front of everyone, right? It's because there is a reason. Maybe because when they were a little boy or girl, something happened back then, and therefore they are not willing to do it, or they feel like that they are stopped. Or, for example, yeah, like when I was little, I had a lot of fights and arguments in my family. So I was so addicted to this high cortisol level. So that's why I was very argumentative person. Now I don't think so. So it you can change it, but it's the first key is the awareness. And I agree that it's I want to come back to this study. So it's kind of what happened to you at the beginning of your life. It's kind of shape your life in a certain way, but the mindfulness, it's a beautiful way how you can make a pause between your initial reaction versus the standard or normal or wanted reaction. Because there is, I don't want to make it like, oh, you should be like this. Absolutely not. There is a lot of things that, yeah, but it's just so you have a chance to not react out of your emotions, just so you can just take a pause, take a breath, and then, okay, what you gonna do about it now?
Yeah, the science is really telling us that the more we pause in between the stimulus that's coming in or also within us and create a pause in between what is a reaction we turn into a response, then we're going to have more joy in our life, right? Because it's a lot of those reactions when it's like there's a stimulus, there's a reaction that we communicate out of the emotion itself, which is very, very fleeting. So, yeah, it's really great how the neuroscience is really backing up meditation and all of the different benefits. Yes. And so it's really great how the neuroscientists are backing up the strength that mindfulness and meditation can really bring to adding to your joy.
Yes, and one of the factors that kind of gives you a control of what you do, and that's the leading factor to feel happy and joyful and fulfilled in your life, when you have actually control over it. And yeah, everyone's like, oh, I have a control. Like, do you? Like, I don't really think that sometimes I have a full control over my life. So it's not and what do I know, but it's very few people that they actually have this. So it's yeah, I don't know many actually like with 100%, right? Like ownership and all of that. So it just yeah, and it takes years, and it's not easy task to do, but this is a start.
Yet it does work.
Yeah.
And the science tells us that it doesn't matter what happened in your childhood. You can rewire your brain to joy if you put in the work. And they're saying meditation and mindfulness is where you want to start.
All right, let's give them the task of the week so they can put the work in if they want to.
Yeah, so the task of the week is to do a 5-minute meditation early in the morning. And what you want to do is you want to be telling yourself how the day is going to happen, right? So you set your intentions for the day and you can visualize how great the day is going to be so that you can walk around with that smile, with that joy, knowing that all these great things are coming to you because you're focusing on it. You're focusing on making a joyful experience throughout your day. And all it takes is about 5 minutes. And you can just run through your entire day in your head from waking up, getting out of bed, doing your yoga, doing your workout, right? And then going throughout your day all the way until you hop back in bed. And, that might take a couple minutes to run through it all. And you just want to feel through the moments, right? Because you can think it, yet it can really start attracting those joyful moments to you when you're feeling through it as well. So give it a go this week and let us know how it goes in the comments.
Yes, and if you want to share about your experience, you can hang out with us on Thursday on Instagram Live, and just make sure to rewatch if you feel like diving more into neuroscience, like the presentation from Leo and Anna. I think it was great. So I hope you will like it as well. And thank you so much for watching or listening to our podcast. I really appreciate each and one of you. So thank you so much, and see you next week.
Yep. All right. Thanks, everybody. Ciao.
Ciao.